children are 100% the future of every generation. Heck, it is your future and mine. And in many times, we take the education or the discipline or the growing up of a child for granted, where sometimes the education of the child is given away to a tablet or given away to a teacher or a babysitter or a nanny or whatever you have in your life. And we tend to even forget about our own discipline towards that child. I have a special guest with me today that is dedicating her career to the well-being of children and really the future of the generations to come. And I'm so excited because as a former child myself, and I've had a very discombobulated, definitely zero discipline in our home and a lot of issues from grown-ups, from divorce, alcoholism, physical beating, you name it, you think of it, we've experienced it. Thank God I did all right. But I want you to hear directly from her and the golden nuggets that she's about to drop for us. So if you're ready, let me know. This is
all eyes on me, girls on me, on the dance floor. All eyes on me, who will see? Then you better come get your girl dog. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your night will be. All eyes on me, all eyes on the prize. Money supersized, G5 super fly, should be supervised. Do or die, open up your eyes, head to the sky. Keep a mean bad mommy on the side. Make a tsunami, kamikaze on the mind. Spit flow, paparazzi flash shine. Get dough, champagne, Merlot. Cash and tango, in the VIP. Now she wanna touch her ankle. Get low, mueve mami como el dembow. All eyes on me, peeping through the window. Get mine, get yours, believe it or not. In the meantime, I'ma keep my eyes on the top. All eyes on me, drinks on me, girls on me, on the dance floor. All eyes on me, who will see? Man, you better come get your girl dog. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your night should be.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. I am super excited and humbled with the opportunity and privilege to bring before you and interview this rock star, superstar, incredible superwoman who has dedicated herself to our future and the future of this, not only country, but really the whole world by putting her focus, her resources, her attention and well-being into the children that we really should give a whole lot more to. So ladies and gentlemen, I bring before you Celia. And Celia and I, by the way, go way back. We've done business together. We've done lives together. We've done interviews together in the past. And today is not only a catch-up live right before your eyes, but also I'm really excited and in support and endorsing an initiative that she is taking on as we speak right now. So first and foremost, Celia, for those who may not know about your greatness and your gift, give us a little synopsis of who you are, and then I'm going to dig into a whole lot of your brain.
Well, first, thank you, Ali, so much for having me here. I always enjoy our conversations and all that you do to empower people. Love it. Yes, I've been working to promote the health and wellness of children for about 40 years now. And I have frankly been on a mission to help 1 million parents stop yelling at their kids. It is so vital to stop this yelling, and we can dive into it more. But once I've reached the million, which I have, I'm upping it to 10 million. And in order to reach that, I really have to get this ready for the world to receive. Because what we forget is we're all role models for children. All of us, whether you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a person in the grocery store, you're somebody walking down the street, we are all role modeling behaviors to children. And if we are going to truly affect the next generation and generations to come and teach a more nonviolent mindset, we have to start when kids are little. And we have to start impacting their young, underdeveloped brains right then and there. And that's what I work on.
Well, let me dig into that. And first of all, thank you so much for that. Where were you when I was, getting my pow, as the parents used to call it, my whipping, right? So what is the impact on children when they're getting yelled at or disciplined in an aggressive way, which to us parents, we do what our parents have done for us because we think, well, I grew up well, and my parents gave me that discipline. But there's a lot of gray area in there where we kind of confuse discipline with just straight up abuse, right? So what is the impact on a child when they're getting just yelled at? Forget about the little pow pow or or whatever it may be as a a physical hit. But what is the impact of yelling at a child from your understanding and your vantage point?
Well, that's a great question, because that's where it really begins to hit home when you, excuse the pun, hit home, but when you actually start realizing how this impacts your child. I had a client of mine talk about, well, sometimes wouldn't you agree it's just appropriate to hit a child? It's just things are out of control and it's just appropriate. And my return response to that was, so tell me when it's appropriate to hit your wife, or when it's appropriate to hit your partner or your husband or somebody at work. When is that appropriate? It's not. It's not appropriate, and it's not appropriate to hit a child who is even more defenseless, has an extremely underdeveloped brain, because our brains don't fully develop until we are 25 years old.
Correct.
And is learning from us. You need to be the person you want your child to be. And when we hit them and when we consistently yell at them, we destroy their soul. And we plant those little voices in our heads that we all have. We all have, because we came from these dysfunctional childhoods. So if you are second guessing yourself all the time, if you can connect and go, oh yeah, I'm always second guessing myself, always. That comes from that. Because when you're yelled at all the time, the child feels like, well, I don't know what to say, because what if I say something and they judge it, or they criticize me, or they hit me, or they yell at me? And so am I saying the right things? And then that, as you see before your very eyes, is destroying their confidence. People don't speak up for a lack of confidence. And that confidence is already being destroyed by a parent who is constantly judging, criticizing, ridiculing, yelling at them. And if a child is yelled at all the time and they're never offered praise or encouragement, then they always think, well, I must do everything wrong. I do everything wrong. And the reverse side of that is I do nothing right.
Which is a dangerous place to be as well. If I may, kind of speak on that for a second. I know, coming up, I mean, from homelessness, child abuse, sexual abuse, we've endured it all, unfortunately. And you grow at one point rebellious. You get that revengeful mindset, and the almost feeling, and I remember this vividly, the feeling of, nobody cares anyways. I'm going to get yelled at anyways. I'm going to get, like being told that I'm doing it wrong anyways. Might as well eat the chocolate that I'm about to steal from the closet anyways. So I mean, am I on the right track here, or is that
100%.
deeper than that?
100%. That's, it's like when you constantly call your child a liar. Why are you lying to me? You always lie. Eventually the child thinks, well, why tell the truth? Because they only assume I'm lying. Why make an effort to do something? They only assume I'm lazy. So I'm going to live up to those expectations, whatever those expectations are, good or bad. And if you are constantly labeling your child, constantly punishing them, constantly leading them to believe that they're the bad kid, they will live up to being the bad kid in every aspect of life.
So then what is the solution? Because I'm sure you would agree with me, it's sometimes incredibly hard, especially if there are other variables, right? Like parents that are working all day long and they don't really have that much of a time to put a direct impact. Or the other side to it is just straight up reactive parents based on the moment and how they were raised too. So how do we fix that? Some people would say it's easier said than done. Take my 4 kids for an hour and watch how they drive you crazy. So what do we do about it?
I totally agree. And I know I've had people say to me, well, clearly you're not a mom. I have raised 5 children, 5 children successfully into their 30s and 40s. 3 of them I gained by marriage. So I've been successfully parenting a blended family for over 27 years. So I am a parent and a grandparent. I'm a grandma to 9. And the thing is that we have systems in place for everything. You decide you're going to be an engineer, you go to school to learn how to do it. We go to have to drive, we learn how to do it. We want to play basketball, we learn how to do it. We want to go to the bathroom, we learn how to do it. We don't pee through our pants, we take them down. There's a process for everything. And yet, in this world, we think that the single most important responsibility we have, raising the next generation of adults, doesn't require our time to learn. Doesn't need it because miraculously we have it put in our heads already from our already dysfunctional and abusive childhood. So we learned, and that's what we're carrying into our parenting for our own children. So the key is learn a better way. You said it, Ali. You said, instead of being reactive, stop being reactive and start being proactive. I know this is important in business. It's important in all aspects of life. And yet we don't do that in raising a child. We just react to whatever's going on. We fly by the seat of our pants. We live in chaos and stress, which only causes more chaos and stress.
Chaos and more stress. You are so on point on that. One thing that I learned, my wife and I both learned was, at first, we would get upset, right? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are we doing this? And we took the time to learn, what goes through a child's mind, right? To a child, everything is a toy. So what looks like a book to you and I, to them is a toy, right? What me and you see as a holy grail of a computer that no one should ever touch, to them, they're like, oh, look at all these buttons, it's a toy. And we needed to understand and learn that, this 2-year-old and this 5-year-old, they're supposed to run and drop stuff and jump into like, to them, everything is a ball pit. And until we understood that and we started comprehending a little bit, I'm not saying we're perfect, but we comprehend that this is what they were supposed to do. This is what we have done when we were kids. And, it comes a little bit to how would you want to be treated if you were that child? So we talk a lot more. Now, don't let me wrong. We sometimes fall prey to the reaction where I turn around like, stop, don't do that. And I catch myself. I'm like, I'm sorry that I spoke to you that way, right? Is there any pointers that you can share right now that someone can apply immediately today, or it needs a little bit of heavier or heavy duty work? How do you see it?
There's absolutely pointers. And this goes for anyone talking with children. The first thing we have to remember is a child is a human. They are a human just like you and I. And how we want and desire respect, so do they. So often parents think, well, respect is you snap into line. You do what I say you do. It's it's my way or the highway. And if you don't like it, leave. And that doesn't encourage respect. It actually encourages disrespect. And respect is a two-way street. So when you are working with a child, you also want to understand, how do they learn? Like you said, curiosity is a wonderful thing. It's the sign of a great mind. And so that, yes, they're curious for everything. They see something, they're curious. They've only been around for a few years. And so you want to set your home up for success, not failure. If you've got a crystal ball sitting on a table and you don't want them to touch it, guess what? They're going to touch it, lick it, smell it, taste it, even maybe throw it. So don't sit it within their reach.
Correct.
Children are told no on average 400 times a day. They are told yes on average 35 times a day.
Oh
Wouldn't it
my
be nice
goodness.
to switch that around? And here's your tip. Your tip is we as humans are quick to notice the negative. Start noticing the positive. Children do so much more good than they do not so good. And the thing is, we're going about our day. We're all busy. We're on the phone. The kids are playing great. We say nothing. The kids fight, and we hang up that phone and we walk in there and, like, what are you guys fighting about? What is the problem? Why do you always have to fight? When in reality, for a half hour, they've been playing very nicely while you're on the phone.
Guilty.
And
Guilty,
what you
guilty, guilty.
should do is walk in when they're fighting because they're sick of each other. So you should walk in and go, you know what, guys, thank you so much for playing so nice while I was on the phone. Look, why don't the three of us go sit down and play a game for a little while and not even mention that little spat, because the spat was the result of being around each other too long.
Yeah. Which happens to us adults. I mean, how many times we were somewhere and we're like, I gotta go home. I'm getting tired of this. So I get it. I totally get it. That was so powerful. Now, you're having an event that is starting tomorrow, and you're focusing a whole lot on what we kind of gave us a little bit of an appetizer right now. Can we dig into what should someone expect in that event? Why should we attend that event? Give us a little bit of a preview of the expectation on that.
Absolutely. So the event that I started is the International Day of Calm. And I started that on April 5th because that is the day my dad passed away in 2020. And he was the so-called yeller in our family. And he was an amazing man. You know, just to touch on a little bit about dad and why I did this. This man did so much for humanity. He was part of the original team that installed airplane seatbelts into cars. So when you snap that buckle around your lap and your child, you have my father and his three buddies to thank. He did all these things for humanity, and yet he felt like the most average, mediocre person. He always
Wow.
felt like anyone could do stuff like that. Why is that? Because he was mentally and physically abused as a child, and it left him hating himself, not his parents. It left him hating himself and feeling mediocre. And so for that, I decided to expand my belief of how we are all role models for kids. This day and our 3-day free summit that's all online from April 5th to April 7th is for everyone, is to learn to take personal responsibility. Stop the blaming and the excuses and the criticizing and the judgment. Start compassionately connecting to another person. And it's also for parents about being intentional and helping teach you how to be more intentional for parents. It's about expressive education, education that encourages creativity and curiosity, and safety and security. Because once we realize that, oh, thank you, Coach Glow. Once we realize that we take personal responsibility, we are going to be the change that makes the world a calmer, a more compassionate, a less violent world. We, each of us, every single one of us around this globe, take on that responsibility and learn how to do that. We impact generations to come. And there are 11 international speakers talking on all subjects, from silence and what silence does for you, plant medicine, parenting, communities, all kinds of various topics, so you can learn how to start taking responsibility and how to start really emotionally regulating yourself and living a calm life in all areas of your life. And that's why I encourage you all to go to thedayofcalm.org. Join the Day of Calm Summit. Check out the classes, the speakers. It will be on live on YouTube and on Facebook. And you will learn so much, even for your kids.
Yeah. But that's awesome. And first of all, what an amazing way to honor your father. And I can relate to your father. Many don't know, but those who are close to me do know. I attempted to take my life at the age of 19 because I had that self-hatred from my actual childhood. Yeah, it's an interesting thing that goes here when you've had like a childhood that's bruised, right? And my older brother, my specifically, and I, most of our conversation about our memory usually end up with, remember when this went bad, remember when we got beat, remember when we were in the street, remember this or remember that. So I understand, and I pray that any parent who is hearing this message, even if you're watching just snippets, even if you're watching replays, I'm gonna register myself just so I can have access. So as I'm doing what I need to do, at least I can educate myself a little bit. For the sake that, listen, I got two children, and I don't know everything, and operating with, my operating system is a residual contribution of everything that I've lived and everything that I've read and every mentor that I've had, and you're kind of trying to filter through, okay, in this situation, what part of my head I'm supposed to be using and how I'm supposed to react. So if it can make me 1% better, I definitely look forward to getting educated. So everybody that is watching, make sure, whether it's a replay or live, go to dayofcalm.org right now, dayofcalm.org. Make sure that you register. And at the same exact time, make sure that you follow Celia in all the different social media assets. She is a gift of wisdom, knowledge, best-selling author, just an incredible human being that you definitely want to be connected with and to. So with that, we appreciate and love each and every one of you. And Celia, I'll give you the last word. Take a last minute. That one person who says, yeah, but you don't understand my situation. What is your message for that final person? And we'll wrap it up.
My message for that final person, first of all, is get control of you, understand you, and the Day of Calm is for everybody, not just parents. But also, if you are a parent, start putting yourself in the shoes of your child. Start reflecting back when you were a child. Too often, children feel undervalued, hopeless, and invisible. Spend 5 or 10 minutes one-on-one with your child throughout the day. Here, you got 10 minutes, let's do something with them without your phone. They don't need the third party. They need you, and they need your compassion and understanding, and realize that you are not talking to an adult. They cannot respond to you like an adult. It is not difficult. It's impossible. Understand the age of your child and what you don't know. If you are working with the max of your knowledge and it's not working, that's when you say, I need to learn more. Be willing to learn more. Whoever you are out there, be willing to learn more. We have some amazing speakers for you to learn from. Check out thedayofcalm.org and join our summit.
Awesome stuff. Dayofcalm.org. Register right now. With that, we love and appreciate you. Hey, Celia, peace out, everybody.
Thank you, Ali.